Like the Muhlenberg Township Board of Commissioners meeting for Monday, March 17, 2025, to order. All please rise for a pledge of allegiance and a memorial moment. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a memorial moment for Judith Ness, who passed away on February 26th. Judith was the mother of Police Detective Chris Hess, and for Stephen Noel, passed away March 2nd, which was my brother. Thank you.
Sure. I'd like to make a comment about Mr. Noel, Stephen Noel. He was a great fire guy, great community person in Lauderdale, and he did a lot for people in that area, Muhlenberg Township, Lauderdale, Temple, and he was a family guy. I know his wife and his daughter would be well missed. He was really a good person and a good fireman, and he loved fighting fires, give back to the community with township.
Thank you, Commissioner. Announcements, Marcy, before tonight we did a whole executive session as usual, discuss various personnel matters. Moving on, I will turn it over to Commissioner Lurch and Chief Builder for some police officer accommodations.
T.C. McGowan. Good evening. I wanted to introduce Terrence T.C. McGowan, which is a semi here. T.C. is a retired Baltimore City police officer that served with distinction for 20 years. I want him to come up because T.C. is currently an instructor with the Institute for Law Enforcement Education. That's an agency that's inside the Pennsylvania Department of Education that primarily focuses, well, they only focus on law enforcement training. I became aware of a class that they had to offer, and it was on de-escalation tactics. Shortly after, so we had two-day sessions of training. And after the second session, the awards that are going to be given were a direct reflection on the training that those officers received. So I wanted TC to be part of that. So Officer Michael Ferreira, Alexander Smith, and Zach Fisher. So I'm just going to read one of these because they pretty much say the same thing. On January 31st, 2025 at 23:37 hours, members of C Platoon were dispatched to the area of 5th Street Highway overpass with Route 12 for a male reported to be sitting or standing on the outer barrier of the bridge. Officer Smith, Fisher, and Ferreira responded. The initial officers that arrived were Officer Smith and Officer Ferreira, who soon after arriving were able to establish a rapport with the male and develop a relationship with the male subject by talking about distracting issues, such as the Eagles going to the Super Bowl. During their conversations, it was learned by the officers that the male subject was experiencing family issues that ultimately led to his decision to try and commit suicide. Due to the diligence of the officers, and displaying empathy and compassion, the officers were able to convince the male subject to lower himself back onto the roadway surface. And upon doing so, he thanked and hugged the officers. The male subject was ultimately transported to a local medical facility to undergo a mental health assessment. Officer Fisher escorted the male through the check-in and admission process. The male continued to engage the officers and remain calm. He fully disclosed on his intent on committing suicide by jumping off the bridge. The actions of the officers and their ability to remain calm and establish a personal relationship with the male in obvious crisis through de-escalation techniques that they just learned in an excellent example of professionalism. Their actions demonstrate and promotes the overall mission goals of law enforcement. On this date, I award these officers with a meritorious service award for their display of professionalism under adverse conditions, with a degree and to a hazard, with some degree of hazard of life to the officer and or where death or serious bodily injury to a third person is prevented. Father, why do you have anything to say?
I'm glad the Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Everybody was Eagles fan.
Yeah. It all worked out well. One thing I wanted to say is doing this job for, in my 13th year total. I can't remember that many times I've actually helped somebody. So being able to actually help somebody feels pretty good. So thank y'all for being here for that.
Easy, anything else?
Just briefly, this is not about me, but I just want to say briefly, I did, as Chief mentioned, I worked in Baltimore City for 20 years. And in my current job, I travel all over the state and teach police officers everywhere in the state of Pennsylvania. I say that to say this. These men and the men and women of the Muhlenberg Township Police Department are some of the best officers and human beings I've ever encountered in 20+ years in law enforcement. And the folks that live here are very, very fortunate to have these men and women serve with you. They go out every day and risk their lives and show a level of compassion and professionalism that I have not seen very often in this profession. So I'm so thankful that these folks exist because we need more like them, and you're very fortunate to have them. So God bless you guys. It's all about you.
All right. Thank you again, Officer St. Chief and Commissioner Lurch. We'll move on to the first public presentation of time for residents and taxpayers to comment on matters of concern, actions, or deliberations, which may or may be before the Board of Commissioners. Please allow those who are addressing the board to ask their questions directly to the board without interrupting. Please limit your comment to 5 minutes. Kathleen, sign in first. I'm not sure you signed in. No. No, I'm not reading that one out. Bonnie Dado, 1036 Marshy Drive, Rivercrest Drive.
It's pretty hard to follow there. Hi, my name is Bonnie Dado and I live at 1036 Rivercrest Drive, which is the development right in front of Jim Dietrich Park. And there were some, not know, rumors or comments made at the last meeting, which I did not attend, but I was also at the Parks and Rec meeting, and about putting trees and park benches. I heard tonight in the piece of land between the back of my property and the baseball fields. And I'm concerned about it. I know some of the other neighbors are concerned about it too. We don't want the dirt from the trees in our swimming pools. And we were just wondering where these benches or trees were planned to go, if anybody could give us up to date on what's going on. We like it the way it is. We don't want you to spend any money. So that's my comments tonight.
Jeremy, you can answer those questions.
Yeah, so we have an actual landscape plan for Jim Dietrich Park, which was not ever really completed on the landscaping side. So the piece of property that is directly behind all the houses, I believe, where you live and a few others, was not part of that plan because it wasn't ours. It then got handed over to the township by Grande. So the landscape plan that was supposed to be at the edge of Jim Dietrich to that property is now getting pushed back closer to the homes. It's not going to be real close. It's going to be in that buffer zone. I do have the landscape plan with me today, just in case. After the meeting, I'll gladly stay as long as you would like it. We'll go over it and I'll explain the different kind of trees. We're not going crazy, but it's gonna be some very nice decorative trees along there. Give a little shade, give a little color, if you will. Not just green trees. We're thinking some red buds, different things with some color. And possibly putting some benches in there because there's walking paths that we are gonna continue to keep through that weeded area. For the people to walk their dogs and whatever. So I do have the plan here and I can explain what.
Can you tell me how close they will come to the houses? Is it gonna be 15 feet, 20 feet, 50?
The buffer zone is about 50 feet off of your property line now.
Right,
So the trees will probably split that difference. So roughly 25 to 30 feet off the property line. Because once they do mature, which probably all of us will not even be here anymore. That gives that 25-foot zone, so it won't encroach anybody's property.
currently, we have a beautiful view of the park. And we were just wondering what was the purpose of, you said shade,
Well,
but
it's,
I never see anybody walk there.
it's one of these, I mean. Trees do create oxygen, so we do need trees, and we lose trees every year in that park.
Can you put them on the other side of the patch, like where the ball fields are?
We're doing 15 roughly a year, and they're gonna be 5 to 6 foot tall, so it's gonna be about 15-20 years before you really notice it too much.
I'll be
So,
told to complain then.
yeah, so we're talking, it's gonna take a long time, and we're doing a little bit at a time, so it's very inexpensive. And I don't wanna draw it out, but we also don't wanna put a lot of money out per year.
Mhm.
So we're gonna try to accommodate this plan. And
You wanted to make it more attractive and maintain it and
yes,
so that it's usable.
they're gonna be very nice trees and it will be very. We usually don't do anything that isn't perfect, so it's gonna be pretty nice when it's done. I think you'll enjoy it,
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
Is the 25-foot mark set in stone, or if there's concern from the residents, can that be adjusted?
We can adjust it to will, you know.
Okay.
Well, good, like 40 feet. I'm really concerned about dirt in the pool. We paid a lot of money to choose that lot. So our lot would be up against the park. And we are spending a lot of money right now. The backyard's done. With a patio and pool and all that, in the back there. And we sit out there and enjoy the River Fest. And all the music, whatever you have, we sit out there and have parties. And to have trees there, especially something with leaves that would create dirt for our pool would be.
Well, why don't, you and I, Miss Scalise here to talk about it
Mhm.
also.
It's kind of cute because I love coming. She's my neighbor.
There you go.
She's my neighbor. We were discussing this Friday night.
Why don't the two of you
Cocktails.
go ahead with Jeremy, go through the plans.
Sure, I just
Commissioner
come-
Sorelli's point,
Yeah,
we'll try to accommodate as best we can and
Sure.
understand the situation. But why don't we, before we do anything, why don't you go through that with Jeremy, and then we'll take
sure.
action what we need to based on Jeremy's recommendation.
But there is a lot of pine too, so there isn't gonna be a lot of leaves. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be a mix.
okay. All right, thank you.
Right, anyone else wish to speak under the first public portion? All right, seeing none. I need a motion to approve the entire consent agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Go ahead, Commissioner Lurch, had an update to that.
Yeah, I'd like to at least pull out from the consent agenda. The commissioner minutes from our last regular meeting of February 18th. There's a correction that needs to be made, so if we want to vote on the remaining consent agenda and then come back to this particular item.
Okay, we'll move that and then we'll amend that, I guess, in another motion. That's okay, Kelsey.
Yeah, that's fine.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Noes if any. The ayes have it, and so ordered. So Commissioner Lurch, you want to make a motion to amend the regular commissioners' meeting minutes for February 18, 2025?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to correct the minutes under, from last month, under item 8B. In regards to 654 Eversole Road, conditional use motion to approve or deny. The recording shows that the result was a failed vote of 2-3. But that is incorrect. The motion that was made was to deny the conditional use of that location. I moved that it be denied. I believe it was Commissioner Cerulli seconded the motion, and the denial motion passed unanimously. So we need to have that corrected. The way it's recorded right now is the ayes were recorded as myself and Commissioner Cerulli, and the nays were Commissioners Malinowski, Wolfinger, and Hoffmaster.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll second that motion. Any questions or comments on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Noes, if any? Yeah, I have that, so ordered. Thank you, Commissioner. Go ahead.
I just saw my name in there. Because Eversole Road is such a hot topic at the conditional use hearing itself, and then at last month's meeting, I wanted to make sure that it was recorded that it was unanimously voted to deny the conditional use. I think it's important that it be recorded correctly, but also for the neighbors who live in that area. They are aware that the commissioners are not in favor of the conditional use.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any unfinished business? Seeing none, moving on to new business, a motion to approve payment of bills presented by the Director of Finance and Customer Service.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Noes, if any? The ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to authorize the chief of police to purchase 4 handheld radios from Fireline Inc. in the amount of $26,246.25.
Move. Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Noes, if any? The ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to authorize the solicitor to advertise a revision to the pension ordinance, adding an alternate plan administrator.
Motion.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Noes, if any? The ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to authorize the solicitor to advertise revisions to the tax rate ordinance.
Move. Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Noes, if any? The ayes have it, so ordered. I need a motion to approve a fire services agreement with Bern Township to provide fire service coverage.
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Discussion on the topic. I guess first, Jim, if you just want to give a history of the situation for the public, and
Sure.
then we'll move on from there.
Yep, Bern Township approached us, probably 3/4 of the way through last year, in regards to our ability or interest in being able to provide, fire service coverage in Bern Township. After some negotiation, or discussion rather, we came to the board and the board was agreeable to moving forward, so we allowed Bern Township to go through their process, and at Bern Township's, I think it was their December meeting, they opted to give their existing fire company an opportunity to provide the fire service that Bern thought that they were entitled to. And here we are today.
Thank you, Jim. Any board members like to talk or some public comment?
I'll comment. You know, this is not in any way, shape, or form to make any kind of comment, or not commendation, but any kind of analysis of the Greenfield Volunteer Fire Company. You know, the discussion is, as always with fire service, is to be able to provide coverages to residents living in a municipal area. This board did have concern of what would happen if Vernon Township decertified Greenfield Fire Company. One of the discussions was, you know, that we know that through mutual aid, we need to provide service to Vernon Township, regardless of this agreement. Our concern is for the residents of Muhlenberg Township, to make sure that we are not in any way, shape, or form sacrificing the level of service that we are able to provide to residents in Muhlenberg by this agreement. The agreement kind of augments us financially because we would have to be making these runs regardless. So if we were not accepting this agreement and taking some type of monetary compensation from Vernon Township, our fire service would still be running calls to Vernon Township for mutual aid. And we had meetings with officials from Vernon Township. I would like to give commendation to Chief Lupko for the detailed analysis that he provided this board in order to sit down and actually make a decision. So, you know, we are not in a position where we're going to be impacting our residents any more than they would have been impacted anyway. So thank you, Chief, for your dedication and the amount of information that was provided to this board.
One reason I realized that the chief did that, he knows our volunteer and paid fire people could do that. Take care of Muhlenberg, take care of Greenfield too. But we got a good volunteer fire company here, and chief really think highly about that. That's why Greenfield reached out to us to do it. Cool. He knows where we stand.
Commissioner, anything doing?
I think, Kevin said it all. Yeah, I mean, we were running these calls to begin with. So it only makes sense for us with the information that we've been provided, to carry out this agreement. And, our volunteer firefighters do an excellent job. Our new paid staff do an excellent job, our chief. So we look forward to working with Vernon Township.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll just also add that, obviously, this was a recommendation by our chief who indicated we could handle it through an intense analysis. The reason we're receiving compensation too is to ensure that we have the appropriate paid fire personnel, yet still here in our community, going over there over 100 times in the course of a year. With already straining our guys, our volunteers, and our paid folks now. So his recommendation goes a long way with, I believe, what will be an approval of this agreement. I also want, just so you understand, this doesn't necessarily mean or tie us into being Vernon Township's career fire department for the history of Vernon Township or Muhlenberg. We will analyze this each year because it is a 3-year agreement that comes up every year. We believe that, you know, this could be a nice solution for them. And I do thank Mr. Cox in the back of the room for helping provide the information to all of us to help us make an informed decision. So thank you, Chief. Thank you to the guys that go over there and help, you know, across, I don't want to say across town, but we get there in about 3-4 minutes. So we'll look forward to adding some more staff and being able to ensure Muhlenberg Township's covered. So thanks to everyone involved. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. Thank you. The motion to accept the applicant's offer to grant a 90-day time extension for the Muhlenberg Township Fire and Rescue Subdivision.
So moved. Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to ratify the police chief's disciplinary action regarding a police officer.
So moved.
Second.
Questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to award the small equipment contract to Schlau Inc., Brownie Seafold Paving Inc., and Rainstown Excavating.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. I need a motion to approve various job descriptions as presented.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to accept the bill of sale for the Edmund Memorial Bridge.
Move.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. Any other new business by the board or any staff?
I'd like to just make a comment, if I may, on a new business. Commissioner Cerulli and myself, were able to attend the municipal officials dinner, at Albright College last Thursday, even though I only got to see him for half a second. The municipal officials dinner is sponsored by the Center for Excellence in Local Government. It gives elected officials and members of the community a chance to get together and discuss important topics. I thought the dinner was very interesting this year. The way they presented some of the material was lively. So it wasn't just everybody eats a meal and falls asleep. There's a lot of interaction, and you get to talk to a lot of officials from different municipalities who are facing many of the same types of ongoing issues and items that we face here in Muhlenberg. The items that they talked about are items that we've discussed here in public a couple of times. We talked about some of the issues facing our emergency services, particularly, the ambulance service. And, you know, we've covered before that the county, Berks County itself, is going to be commissioning a study to see, you know, the current state of ambulance service across the county, and with a nod to a larger picture across the Commonwealth. So there was a lot of discussion about how we can support our ambulance service. I'm happy to say that, you know, I think we support our ambulance service very nicely. Is there always more we can do? Probably, but right now, I think the Muhlenberg ambulance is in a fairly good position, much better than some of the other ambulance services in the county. They talked about that. They talked about rail service coming back to Reading. That's a hot topic too. I personally am glad to see that that's moving forward. And there were other items, but it was nice to be able to attend. And Commissioner, I don't know if you have anything else you'd like to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other new business? Seeing none, moving forward. Under board appointments, I do need a motion for the board to take action and send the appropriate correspondence regarding a planning commission appointee.
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those if any, the ayes have it, so ordered. Public portion, would anyone else wish to speak under the second public portion? Well, go ahead.
Okay, just an idea of what's going on this spring at the library, anything from the book sale this coming weekend. We're hosting a belly dancing Zumba party as a fundraiser. We have a painting party. Kids' Easter party's coming up, Mother's Day party, just like we had last year. We'd like to thank you for the use of the rec building for those. We're continuing with all our story hours. Right now, I think we have 5 different story hours for different ages of the little kids, including Spanish story hour. There's quite a few new programs for the teens. Any afternoon, we have roughly anywhere from 15 to 20 teens that come in after school. There's the new TVs there, video games and everything else. So we're going full steam ahead and have quite a lot planned for the summer for summer reading. So again, thank you for the use of the building and everything that you guys do for us.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
would just like to point out that the librarian for the library has been very ill for the last 2 months. Linda is basically running the show there.
Oh,
And thank you very much. You've been, you're there every day. And I don't know what we do without you.
we do what we have to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak under the last public portion? All right, seeing none. Mr. Dunkel.
Yeah, just want to remind residents out there to utilize their go to the Muhlenberg app, fantastic tool. I've had several conversations in the past month with residents, some concerns regarding the properties and how to expedite the process. Great way, great tool to expedite the process, and some accountability to get the complaint assigned to an officer. Just a reminder, go to Muhlenberg. Thank you.
Here. No. Nothing. Chief.
Myself and people from Parks and Township Manager are in all discussions about river access. How we're gonna address those issues. It's gonna be getting warmer out, so.
Chief.
Minimal comments, recapping our February 122 calls for service for the month of February. For 2 months, 265 for the year, so staying busy.
We have a planning commission meeting on Wednesday, to consider the Muhlenberg Township Fire Rescue Annexation Plan, as well as a sketch plan review of an apartment complex that came in, so. 7 p.m. here.
Thank you, Jim. Moving on to the board comments.
Yeah. I just want to thank the chief. For that, we drive you guys out December 13th, the fire department. Yeah, the food drive, that's a pretty nice picture, and nice article you guys wrote for us to read that, what the community does. We did that, it did help the people. And the water authority board, we had a meeting last Thursday between Mr. Wolfner on the board and that. We will put 32 hydrants in Muhlenberg Township. Alex talked to the new director about where that hydrant should be. It took almost up to 10 years to get the new hydrants there. The new director we have for the water authority, we're moving forward. If anybody have any question, you can call. It's up to the water authority, talk to the new director anytime. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Wolfinger.
I just like to point out, don't want to embarrass you, but that was the best annual report that I've seen from a police chief. It read really well. It told a real good story about our police department, where we're going, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Just like to point out that Jim Dietrich Park Farmhouse is a fantastic place to have a party, get married. You can rent it out. I was there on Sunday for a birthday party. It was painted inside. It looks beautiful inside and it looks beautiful outside. So keep it in mind if you want to have a party. Jim Dietrich Farmhouse is a beautiful place to go. Thank you.
Thank you. No comment. No comment.
It never ceases to amaze me just how humble our first responders are. And that includes our police and our fire department, our ambulance department. And to have an officer stand in front of you and tell you that, this is the first time that he can remember making a difference in somebody's life. Every time they put the uniform on, they're making a difference. Every little thing that goes unannounced or unreported in the newspaper, the items that we see in reports, platoon reports and fire department response reports. Every one of those incidents makes a difference in somebody's life. This is a major incident. I mean, to be able to do what they did and just I'm just gonna say the dumb luck that they were able to take that training and then immediately go out and use that training. That's just fate in my mind. But you all make a difference every time you put the uniform on, and I'm very proud of all of them. I just also want to say happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody, and if you do go out and imbibe tonight to celebrate, please make sure that you have a driver.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just real quick, several things, someone mentioned about springtime coming up. You know, we're all neighbors, I guess the way I put it is, when you go down to any of our parks, please pick up your trash and pick up your dog. That's the appropriate word, I can say that saying. But please, I mean, it's all of our, you know, people walk right by me, and it's our parks, we spend a lot of money, they're beautiful, they're award winning. Please pick up after yourself. Also, the roads at our parks are not for your vehicles, so please refrain from doing that. I've seen that especially at Jim Dietrich, where they drive, even at the baseball field, before somebody gets hurt seriously. So I know we have signage up there, but we have to be cognizant of that. And also, please, if you have questions about any policy decision this board makes, I'd ask you to contact the township or look on our webpage and refrain from social media, because it's so inaccurate most of the time. So please just look at our website to find information. We'd be happy, I'm sure, any one of the five of us to talk through any decisions that were made here. And last but not least, as Commissioner Lurch always says, we try to get involved in different organizations. I was just appointed to the Berks County Municipal Authority. I don't know why I would do that. If anyone wants to know about tax exempt financing, you know, you're welcome to come. But it's important for us to get involved in these things so we understand what's happening across the county and we can help Muhlenberg Township out. So I hope everyone enjoys their St. Patrick's Day and hopefully enjoys some nice weather. Have a good night.